Hadley wants to make sure that they can listen to this over and over again, looking for locations. It's available where all podcasts are heard. Um, Photo Bang Bang is saying what a great example junk food is. Removing junk food from your house just removes the root cause. And again, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show, Ben.
Huge pleasure. Huge pleasure.
Yeah, no, the psychology and mindset, I'm a huge advocate for. And going back to your willpower, your previous book on willpower, which was so powerful, that makes me want this to be my final question. It's about motivation and how to tap into what psychologists, this is a topic you touch in the book, psychologists call pull motivation, by narrowing our possibilities, because in a world of infinite possibility, it's really hard to get started and to go in any one direction. And I'm wondering if you could, as a tip of the hat to the book that you all ought to be reading right now, which is Personality Isn't Permanent, talk to us about pull motivation and narrowing focus on a compelling outcome.
For sure. Well, so there's pull motivation and there's push motivation. Push motivation means you have to push to do it, which means it requires a lot of willpower. It means you don't really want to do it, or you don't understand how to do it. It's a push. It's difficult. Whereas pull motivation means that you're literally being pulled forward. It means that like you've put your, and so like that, there's a good theory in psychology called expectancy theory. It's one of the core motivations it's one of the core theories on motivation. And basically what it breaks motivation into is three things. In order to be heavily motivated, you need a clear goal. You need like a process to get there, which often requires education. Like as an example, when I first decided I wanted to be a professional writer, I first had to conceptualize a goal. I had a future self. The future self was me as a professional writer, writing books like this, but I needed to turn that into a goal in order for it to become motivation. And so after getting enough, information, asking agents, bloggers, writers, I came to the conclusion that I wanted to get a six-figure book deal. That was a tangible thing that I could do. So you need a clear goal and an outcome, like something tangible out in the real world. And then you ultimately need to develop a process. So once I had the question, or once I said, okay, I want to get a six-figure book deal. This was before I'd ever written a blog post, didn't even know anything about it. I then had to actually study, how the crap do you do that? You know what I mean? But if you have a goal, you can then reverse engineer a process. And the goal always determines the process. A lot of people are looking for a process, but the process without the context of a goal makes zero sense. My goal is going to be different from your goal, so my process is going to be extremely different from your process. But a lot of people, they obsess on the process. But anyways, you need a goal, you need a process, and then ultimately you need to start taking steps in that direction, even small steps. And then motivation starts to kick in, just like confidence starts to kick in. So there's a quote from Harvard, a Harvard psychologist. His name's Jerome Bruner, but he says that you're more likely to act your way into feeling than feeling yourself into action. And so basically the idea is small steps. That's why I think first thing in the morning, putting yourself in the perspective of your future self, and maybe even just taking a few small steps forward, over time, it accumulates into an extreme amount of motivation. Like when I first started blogging back in 2015, I was a first-year PhD student. I had class at 8 in the morning. That was actually a forcing function. Because for me, it was like, okay, I have only until 8 in the morning, and then after class, I should probably get home because my wife's tearing her hair out because we've got 3 new foster kids. And so if I need to write, I have to do it before 8 a.m. And so, it only took like an hour or two a day, and also educating myself on the process of my goal. But over time, your motivation becomes extremely heightened. It also heightens by making progress, by watching yourself make progress. That's why I think it's so exciting to say, what are my wins from my last 90 days? Just looking at that can motivate you. And so motivation, you can't be motivated without a goal. I recommend shrinking your goals down, because complexity also kills motivation. So if you can really shrink it to like, what's the one major outcome you're looking for? In my case, it was a six-figure book deal. That was back then. If you can break all of your goals into one and say, what's the one thing you're really trying to get? It should still be tangible. Then you can create a really streamlined path towards that one major outcome. And that will really make motivation very easy for you. If you don't have all the answers, or if you're trying to pursue too many things, it's going to be too complex, and you're going to just stop yourself from taking any action, which is going to kill your motivation.
Wisdom. again, there's all kinds of clapping and thumbs up and the double hand in the air emoji. Dr. Ben, thank you so much for being on the show. If you're tuning in late, you missed it. Rewind, go back to the beginning, go back to creativelive.com/TV, because we've just been liberated from the limiting beliefs that our true selves need to be discovered, and have rather been shown that we can intentionally create our desired selves and achieve amazing things individually, culturally, as a solo or as a team. Thank you so much for being on the show, Ben. Congrats on your new book dropping today. I wish you all the best. And this community is very passionate and are book buyers. So for those folks out there, show some support for Dr. Benjamin Hardy and his new book. Ben, congrats, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Dude, I'm blown away. You let me be on it of all days today. Really generous of you. Very generous of you, man.
Very excited. And we will make a quick turn on the audio because I know, again, there's folks. Radonna says thank you. 333 Harry says giving a shout out. Bonnie, Donnell, Suvion, Matthew, Torben, Susan, people cheering you on from all over the world. Best of luck in the launch, and thanks so much for illuminating what's possible with this one precious life we've got.
Thank you, man.
If you're feeling isolated and looking for creative connection, try tuning into creativelive.com/TV. That's where we've got a 24/7 live stream from the kitchen counters.
I can do that backlit shot that I really like to do.
From the studios and living rooms of many of the world's top creators, where we're doing musical performances, Q&As, cooking shows, virtual book tour events, drawing, spoken word poetry, and more.
Life passed me by waiting for an invitation when the world is greater than my nation or my occupation. Be someone you've never been. You feel all that adrenaline? It's medicine.
It actually helps me feel like my days are more purposeful.
I hope that out of this deep pain will come some collective growth.
Dive into Creative Live TV today.